welcome back to our Steve Jubb. I'm Sue Brain, and hello world. I'm going to say hello universe, because being a good old-fashioned Aquarian, I'm really into ETs and hope that they're hearing us. That would be nice, isn't it? So, Steve, we're going to talk about the moons. I think that's a wonderful idea. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
When I was a mere stripling, when I was a youth running around fields practicing astrology at Rainbow Circle and Oak Dragon back in the late 80s, a bunch of women would always have this song and chant about Isis, Astarte, Hecate, Demeter as the names of the moon. Selene also.
Diana.
Diana. I mean, all of these have different archetypes in mythology, but, you know, viewed collectively, the femininity of the moon as the masculinity of the sun. Yeah, these are old-fashioned archetypes now in this wonderful transgender world we live in. But I do believe in my heart that the original god and goddess was the sun and the moon. And I don't get down on my knees and pray, but I still celebrate the moon, the new moon, full moon, and the rise of the sun at the start of the new year, which is why on Monday morning, even though solstice is Sunday afternoon, on Monday morning, I'll be where I be to watch the
Yeah.
first sunrise of the new year. It's
Yeah.
not your Christian
Yeah.
calendar. I'll do it my way.
Yeah. And it's the witch's new year too.
Yeah.
It's the pagan new year. Absolutely.
I mean, we're the only planet that can see its moon,
Isn't that amazing?
isn't
Did you
it?
see the last full moon? Oh, the super moon.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable. She's magical, isn't she?
Yeah. Oh, and I know. I was out the other night. I actually was, for the first time in years, I was actually saw the Geminids. I saw the meteor shower.
Oh, you did? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it was only for a couple of
Wow.
days, only for a day. Myself
Yeah.
and my partner both saw the same shooting star from about 50 miles apart.
Whoa.
Yeah, because Jupiter's so clear at the moment
Yes.
underneath Castor and
Yes.
Pollux,
Yes. I
and
was
that's
seeing
where
it.
the Geminids were coming from.
Yeah. I was pointing it to Gemini to a couple of friends actually, like, because it's so bright in the sky that,
Yeah,
oh my God. I said, oh, that's Jupiter wishing us
yeah.
benevolence as we head into this very fraught time of Christmas.
Well, it's this massive moon thing that's going on.
Yeah,
You
tell
know,
us about
I've
that.
I've never seen it before. I'm sure it must have happened, but you know, the moon doesn't only go round; it also comes in and out, as well as up and down, up and down. And of course, it spins on its axis once a month, so the same face is always facing us.
Yes.
There's only
Yes,
two
it
other
goes
moons in the
like
sky.
that, isn't it?
Charon does that with Pluto,
Yeah.
and I think Triton does that with Titan does that with Saturn. Um, but we're the only, as you say, we're the only planet that can see our moon. So there's always been this relationship with the moon, and the same. And the weird thing is, it's the same face that always looks to us, but the face that we see, which is closest to the Earth, has far more meteor
Yes,
impact
interesting.
craters than the dark side, which is kind of weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
So
changes, the face changes so much.
yeah,
That's what's so magical for
yeah, I
me.
can see the person in the moon very clearly.
Oh, and the hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, all of that. You can see it
yeah.
so clearly.
But you know, because the cycle of the moon, the average full moon cycle is 29 and point 4 days, same as the Saturn yearly cycle, give or take 1%. But for the moon to return to its own position is an average of about 27 and a half to 28 days most of the time. So each month, the full
Mm,
moon and the new moon will be 1 or 2 degrees earlier than it was the previous month.
I
That's
know where you're
always the
heading with
way.
this.
Now, what seems to be happening is that, and I'm sure astrophysicists, astronomers, and scientists have got a rational explanation for it, and this time I would say they're probably right. But because of the vagaries of the moon's orbit at this time, the moon seems to be in a much more stable speed around the Earth, distance from and distance to, seems to be much more stable because the last four new moons have been at, or the last three new moons have been at 28 degrees, 28
Mm.
Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. The moon in a couple of days is at 28 Sag, and then 28 Capricorn, 28 Aquarius, 27 Pisces, and
Yeah.
then it goes back to normal, stepping back 2 degrees each month. And of course, the full moons are repeating that cycle at 13 degrees. So, and I
Yeah.
find this very unusual, and that there has to be some type of deeper meaning behind it from an astrological perspective. And especially as the current new moon that we're just about to head into is conjunct Galactic Centre, the centre of our galaxy. Now, what it actually means is that the sun and the moon in the sky will be in the same degree of longitude, not latitude, otherwise it would be an eclipse. One will be above or below
Mm.
the other, but
Yeah.
that degree, that north south line from the celestial North Pole to the celestial South Pole, will also be the line that the dark cloud that's at the center of our galaxy, between us and the center of our galaxy, will be on. Now, I find it interesting that the Three Eye
Interesting.
Atlas has come from the center of our galaxy. I still think it's a lump of rock, right? And nothing else. But the
Yeah.
fact that it's come from the center of our galaxy, that this new moon is on the center of our galaxy.
Yeah.
And the other week, when I was doing a forecast for it, now, you know me, I don't do mediumship or channeling. I'll leave that to other people. Other people are much better at it than me. I'm not decrying it, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
But the other week, I was just writing a forecast, working out the stuff for the next month. And I was looking at this new moon, and it was like a sledgehammer. Boom. Portal.
Portal.
Now, to me, a portal is normally a gateway or a tunnel or an entrance. But this was different. This was like an opening that just opens up like a membrane and then it's going to close again.
Yeah.
And it was like
God, an opportunity, isn't it?
seeding
Yeah.
a seed. And I think,
Yeah.
and because this new moon is right in the center of the, not only on the galactic center, but it's also right in the middle of a 6 to 7 month period of new moons that are all, well, concentric, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that this has incredible potential. And of course, the world's going absolutely crazy at the moment. Absolutely crazy. There's some
Yeah.
absolutely appalling things happening. And yet, in the middle of this new moon, I can't help it. It just offers light. There's a sense of
But for me, at
hope.
28, yeah, 28 degrees, it's opportunity for me.
Mm,
That real build up, that it's a mature moon. They're all very mature moons.
mm,
And
mm.
maybe they're inviting us to just to grow up, to start being really realistic about who we are and what we are. I mean, I
Well,
think it all ties in. I mean, I know it's not necessarily making an aspect, but it ties into this Neptune Saturn for me
oh, doesn't it just?
hugely,
Well,
hugely.
the first one of these at 28 Virgo 3 months ago was opposite Neptune.
Yes,
And the
yeah,
last one of these in 3 months' time will be at 27 Pisces, by which time
yeah,
Saturn and Neptune would have moved on.
yeah. They'll be in Aries by
Yeah.
then.
I mean,
But
this
there's
is the,
something here, isn't there?
this is the
There's a
last
mystery, a
but
mystic.
one new moon that's hitting
Yeah,
Saturn and Neptune in
yeah,
Pisces. The next
yeah.
one in 4 weeks' time at 28 Capricorn will be sextiling them both when they're both at 28, 29 degrees of Pisces. Because, and then they both move into Aries before the next new moon.
I just feel like there is, for me, there is, with Neptune, with the, I hate using the word spirituality. I think that's massively overused these days, but this sort of sense of creative consciousness.
Oh, I
That's how
like that.
I'm now looking at Neptune as creative consciousness, and Saturn coming in to go. We have to get real. got to face what we're doing. We cannot go on in denial anymore. And I just feel that with these moons talking to the sort of the mystery inside us, the feminine, as you say, the receptive feminine, I think a lot of people might suddenly begin to really connect deeply with the magic with a K of the planetary energy.
There is something in that, Sue. When you imagine the archetypes of how the moon has affected us over not just the last 1,000 or 2,000 years, but
Yeah,
over millennia, then the image comes of, our ancestors sat around their campfires under a full moon, and there will always be the shaman or the shamanka,
yeah,
mainly the women, howling
yes,
at the moon. And it
yes.
speaks to me not of the human capacity for intuition or psychic stuff or even our mentality, but the animal body instinct. I love a good howl.
There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm just telling you what's come to me as you're talking about the full moon. When we used to live in community, women, don't forget, around the full moon probably were bleeding, and they would have been together in the what they call the red tent. So they
Mm,
all went to bleed together, and this is when they were reading for the tribe, because
mm.
that's that incredibly instinctual part of being woman, opening up the psychic centers in that very, very
Aren't, aren't,
hypersensitive time of a
aren't
woman's
we actually
cycle.
touching on old dark magic here?
Oh, we
And I
so
don't mean negative, I mean old
we
dark, because
so
when
are.
a group of women are bleeding together, it seems
We
to me that
so are.
the energy's coming in, through, down, out into the earth,
Absolutely.
and there's the blood.
And they bled
This is
onto the earth. That's
this
what
is
they
blood
did.
magic.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah,
I think there's something maybe really for us to remember the ancient magic.
very much. It's all coming back, but it's
I
coming
think
back in
so.
terms of an upgrade.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is not about going back to the way we were. This is about using what we were, using what we've learned, and now upgrading into adulthood and maturity.
Well, this is what I think the moons are inviting us to do, to grow
Yes,
up, get real,
yes.
take responsibility in all the different signs that they're in at 20, because it's the third decan, it's right at the end of the third decan, which
Mm,
is this sense of maturity. Well, we
mm.
can't go on like we're going. We just can't.
No,
It's not
no, we
possible.
can't.
Otherwise, we will become extinct.
We will, and it won't be long either.
No, it'll be quite quick, won't it, really, when it happens?
The breakdown, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But it's so interesting, Steve, that there's, I think, there is this big split, I think, between people who are carrying on, I call it the celebrity culture, really, glued to the phone, doing whatever they do, and overload of information. And this mass of humanity that people never hear about really, underneath the radar, all creating their own gardens and planting their,
mm,
beginning to create a community, bringing children together, homeschooling, all of that comes under this.
yeah. I have a similar thing. Whereas you're talking about the cult of celebrity and the media addiction, I mean, I'm also looking at the pharmaceutical industry and the large, immensely large number of pills that people take,
Yeah.
and what's going to happen when that crashes.
Well,
It's
the NHS is crashing.
yes, it is.
We're going to have to take responsibility for our own health.
We are,
That is
and a
for
lot
sure.
of people. That's not going to work for a lot of people.
It's hard when you've lived in a nanny state, which we
Yes,
have.
but it's not just in Britain; it's in every so-called civilized country.
Absolutely. But I think what's so hopeful, I'll tell you the other thing I'm really interested in is Pluto out of bounds. I've been looking a lot about how Pluto out of bounds in history has affected our relationship with death and dying. Going back to the Middle Ages, so Pluto out of bounds in Pisces, back in the Middle Ages, that's when the church created the Ars Moriendi to teach us how to do death better because everybody was dying and all the priests were dying. So they needed ritual, but they didn't have the priest to give them rituals. So they created this wonderful woodcut called the Ars Moriendi. And if you trace it all the way back up now, and of course with Pluto out of bounds in Aquarius, Aquarius is going, got to do it differently. We have to do our relationship with mortality differently. Have to. We've got to get out of the box. So I think all of this is wrapping up together and with this
Well,
beautiful trine.
yes. And coming back to the moon has always taught us about sowing and reaping, endings and new beginnings.
Yes. Yes.
It's the archetypal one.
Yeah.
And it's it's a great teacher.
Yes.
The more you actually deliberately choose to let your life be influenced by the phases of the moon, the better your life flows. It's not rocket science. And if you need scientific proof of this, just look at biodynamic gardening.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's not a lot of money in it. You can't profit from it. You can't profit from the planets' places in the sky unless you're an
Yeah.
astrologer. But even then, that's not about profit, is it? That's just about making a living.
No. Which is just joy of being working with the cosmos. And maybe that's what, I don't know, maybe that's what these wonderful moons are inviting us to talk deeply to our, because the moon is soul, and also the moon is also the public. So maybe it really is inviting us to go deeply into that ancient knowing the instinct and really attuning to what the moon is inviting us to do. Oh, I'm getting shivers. It is the magic.
It is. You're right. And I would suggest that you're more in tune with that than I am, mainly because of your gender and
Yeah,
your history of working with mortality.
yeah,
But at the same time, when you think of the moon's roots, you say the moon deals with public. The sun is about identity and individuality, whereas the moon deals not just, it deals with ancestry and roots and foundations and one's innermost feelings. And here I differentiate between feelings and emotion because feelings are innate. They are
yeah.
yours. Emotions generally require external stimulus.
Yes, yeah.
Um, so the moon is all about the cycles of life.
It's the rhythm, isn't it? I think the thing is that because we live in this crazy world, which with the foot hard down on the accelerator, we've forgotten that actually life is about rhythm. And the tide goes in and it comes out. And so do our lives. We have a waning phase, we have a waxing phase, and we're completely out of tune with that.
Most of us are.
Most of us are.
Astrologers have an inkling. I mean, I noticed that this is a bit personal,
Or
but any decent man will tell you the same. You never see this in the newspapers, but there is a male cycle that goes with the moon. And that is to do with, well, I notice it in that sometimes I only need to shave once a week, other times I need to shave every day.
oh, really?
Beard growth can be really strong one week and really weak the
I
next.
didn't know that, Steve.
Not many men will talk about it because it's like, ooh, body stuff, ooh, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I ask any man about it and they'll say,
Ah,
yeah. And then I've related it to the moon phase,
really? That is interesting.
isn't it?
Yes. I like that.
Hmm.
The fact because women, we're a bit possessive over the moon, aren't we? And because we're girlies, and men, it doesn't really touch men, but of course it does. But that's really interesting. I didn't know that. I'm going to ask the next man. I'll ask the next. So I think about. I was just we talking about
Over to
Gary.
you. Yeah.
He'll be.
Oh, I've opened up a right kettle of fish there, haven't I? Right rabbit
Yeah.
warren.
So that's interesting. So everybody out there, girls, ask your partners or your male friends. Does that happen for them? And let us know.
If it doesn't, and I'm the only one it happens to, it tells me there's something wrong with my DNA. But
Or you're more in tune, or maybe you are, whatever.
or maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'm secretly androgynous. I don't know.
But
I
you know
think we all
what?
are. I think we all are actually becoming more and more androgynous.
Oh, definitely. The younger generation. I don't think our generation are necessarily.
Not necessarily physically.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, gosh, I see what you mean. Completely. As you get older, I think that's something that really happens. And I'm curious about that as well. And maybe that's something to do with,
When I don't really know a lot about Kabbalah. I chose not
okay,
to develop my knowledge of it.
yeah,
But I do know that at the very top of the tree of life, Sephiroth,
yeah.
the first thing that happened was the fall, where you split into two. And I wonder if that was the fall into gender.
It, oh, now we're talking. I'm going to just make it. Okay, can I do? Okay, okay. I had a little trip with my friends. We call our little psychedelic friends.
Yeah.
And I was taken to the light as it happens. And I said to the light, how do you manifest on earth? How do you manifest? And it said to me, 100% through the masculine and feminine. I divide into the masculine and feminine. I've never forgotten it. And the masculine and feminine is everywhere. And that's in alchemy. It is the
Mm,
sacred masculine and feminine and coming together. The sacred marriage within us is to bring
mm.
those two dualities together. Of course. And I think as you go older, especially if you're drawn to the more conscious way of living, I'll put it that way, I think the sexuality lessens because it's sort of like not so important anymore. It is about what is this about? And attuning to the rhythms of consciousness.
For which the moon is a wonderful both metaphor and
Yes.
indicator.
Yes.
God, sometimes we sit here and just ramble away and like it's okay. And other times we get on a thread and it's like, oh, this is really good. And this is a
And we
really good one.
Yeah, we'd love to know what everybody else feels about this because we don't know,
No,
we
we're
don't know.
speculating.
We're speculating, but do you know what? It is giving me a bit of ooh.
Yeah,
So
me too. Yeah, we're on something here.
we're
So
on something,
hopefully
aren't
this is
we?
reaching out to a lot of people and they're going, yeah, I'm going to look at this. I want to think about this one.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
go and howl at the moon.
definitely, and just welcome her in
Mm.
because it's
It's interesting at the moment as well because I've got a chart of where we are right now in
yeah,
front of me. And in this last few days, the sun has been and still is on the midpoint of Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars are collaring the sun at equal distance each side of the sun. And I just find that
mm.
really interesting.
I think that's another thing I'd love to talk to you about this whole Venus and Mars relationship in the chart, especially when they're conjunct.
Yeah, there are new ideas on how to manifest Venus and Mars in astrology just in this last 10 to 15 years. And especially with the multi-gender attitudes of society today, there's a very different way of describing Venus and Mars in recent times that's never really happened before. We can do that next time or the time after.
Yeah,
That
let's
would
do
be
that
great.
next time. I
Yeah.
think that's a great conversation to have because um, lovely Alejo Lopez, he
Mm.
talks a lot about that. And I think he's just had a very interesting article about the divine feminine in the latest astrological journal. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. We'll chalk that down for the next time. Steve,
Mm.
is there anything else you'd like to say to wrap up?
Only that, this isn't a drill anymore. We're not in training anymore. This is it. So don't just sort of bat this. Don't listen to us talking and then just bat it onto one side.
Yeah.
Keep it in your consciousness. Be aware of what you're doing. Take responsibility for yourselves and howl at the moon.
Yeah, and women who are bleeding at the time of the moon just really clock into the ancient feminine wisdom that you innately have inside you. And it is not about celebrity culture. It's absolutely about owning the divine feminine that lives within you. And then you'll open up to the instinctual understanding of ancient magic with the K.
Nothing I can say to that, but yes.
And see you next time. Lots of love to you all.
Bye.